Got us all talking for the wrong reasons is the ever-obnoxious Hugh Grant. He's seemingly delighted in humiliating interviewer, the supermodel Ashley Graham, on the non-red carpet.
Right then.
Just my suit.
Your suit? Who
Yeah.
made your suit? You didn't make it.
I can't remember, my tailor.
I mean...
Actor Hugh Grant recently had a heated exchange with controversial journalist Piers Morgan. The confrontation came after Morgan called Grant a D on Twitter following his appearance at the Oscars. Grant, who was attending the ceremony as a presenter, was shocked by Morgan's harsh words and decided to confront him. Fans are now wondering what exactly happened between these two public figures and what sparked their feud. Stay tuned to find out.
What does it feel like to be in Glass Onion? It was such an amazing film. I really loved it. I love a thriller. How fun is it to shoot something like that?
Well, I'm barely in it. I'm in it for about 3 seconds.
Piers Morgan slammed Hugh Grant for his pathetically juvenile antics during his awkward interview with Ashley Graham at the Oscars 2023. Piers Morgan branded Hugh Grant the world's worst douchebag in a stormy rant delivered after the star appeared to roll his eyes at model Ashley Graham during a red carpet interview. The Talk TV star's comments followed outrage from the Twitterverse, with some viewers urging the arrogant actor to go home. Not only that, Piers delivered a scathing critique of Hugh's appearance in his own uncensored Oscars version of The Bash, published in the New York Post, and declared him the winner in the biggest to list a whole category. The incredulous Talk TV star further said, "Well, Hugh Grant was really a complete douchebag to any journalist who had the temerity or supermodels to ask him questions like
wearing, which is probably the most famous question in Hollywood history, to which the answer is, I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana, or whatever it is you're wearing. What you don't do is humiliate and pick on a young interviewer just trying to do her job.
But it doesn't give any right to humiliate and pick on a young interviewer who is just trying to do her job. Well, he didn't roll his eyes but walk away like, God, have I got to deal with these idiots now? With Piers Morgan, other experts also have some similar thoughts about Grant's way to deal with media questions.
Red carpet.
He plays a slightly dim-wit, foppish British
And that's what he did on the red carpet.
Go on,
The
sorry.
thing is, if you don't want to talk to press, if you are bored by it all.
Well, fans being fans are siding with Hugh Grant, claiming that Piers is just picking on him due to his history with Hugh. One of them tweeted, "I like the grown-up Hugh Grant, doesn't take himself too seriously. Unlike Piers Morgan, nobody takes him seriously." Another added, "It's quite obvious Piers hasn't seen any of Hugh's work in a long time as he reinvented himself from the typical Brit role he was known for years ago." At the same time, Ashley Graham, a model who has participated in catwalk shows for Dolce & Gabbana and Tommy Hilfiger and has been a backstage host at Miss Universe contests, was Hugh's interviewer for the occasion. However, looks like she was in for a tough time owing to the actor's frosty responses. Ashley inquired whether he was rooting for anyone to scoop an award that evening, but he replied icily, no one in particular. She attempted to turn the attention onto one of his film projects, perhaps hoping he'd have more to say about his appearance in Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. However, the star insisted he'd barely been in it, appearing for like 3 seconds. A slightly embarrassed-looking Ashley barely skipped a beat in the face of his unenthused answers, reasoning, "But still, you showed up and had fun, right?" Not wanting to commit to that, Liz Hurley's ex shot back, almost. The most in-depth response that he gave during the interview was when he was asked what his favorite thing about the ceremony was. "It's fascinating. The whole of humanity is here. It's a Vanity Fair," he told her. But it wasn't just Ashley who was left feeling a little miffed. Piers Morgan, the outspoken television host and commentator, had some great choice words for Hugh after the interview aired. In a tweet that quickly went viral, Piers called Hugh a D and said that his behavior towards Ashley was rude and dismissive. Well, fans also noticed Grant's behavior during the interview and claimed that Grant did humiliate Ashley. One of them tweeted, "Hugh Grant is the biggest D-bag for this interview. Hugh, if you don't want to be there, go home. Worst Oscars interview ever." Rolling Stone even tweeted to praise Ashley to keep up such awkward conversation with Grant, and the Oscar for Best Actress goes to Ashley Graham telling Hugh Grant it was nice to talk to you. Fans are constantly calling out Hugh Grant for his frosty behavior. I don't understand this from Hugh Grant. If you don't want to be interviewed, don't take the mic, smile politely, and keep walking. Kudos to Ashley Graham for trying repeatedly to get something interesting out of him. Now, this isn't the first time that Piers and Hugh had butted heads. Back in the 90s, Piers was the editor of the Daily Mirror newspaper and published a story that alleged Hugh had visited a yes worker. Hugh was understandably furious about the story and has since refused to speak to Piers. So, it seems like there's some serious bad blood between these two. But regardless of their past, Piers' tweet definitely struck a chord with people who were already feeling pretty unimpressed with Hugh's behavior towards Ashley. If you are not familiar with their history, then we will surely feed you with the details. Piers Morgan reignited his feud with Hugh Grant after the actor said the UK is finished. The Good Morning Britain presenter branded Hugh disgusting after he was asked for his thoughts on Boris Johnson's recent general election win and the UK's impending exit from the EU. Hugh told AP Entertainment, "It's a catastrophe. The country's finished." After learning of Hugh's comments, Piers took to Twitter to tear into him once again. He tweeted, "Hugh Grant is so disgusting. How dare he say Britain is finished? The only thing that's finished is this stuck-up arrogant twerp's credibility as any kind of political expert." Well, fans praised Hugh for not responding to Piers' bizarre comments. "Thank you for calling our Hugh Grant for being rude and disrespectful and ungrateful. His American fans say it's British humor. No, it's not." At another instance, Hugh made headlines when he branded the Prime Minister an over-promoted rubber bath toy. This, of course, swiftly caught the attention of Piers, who sarcastically referred to the actor as Halo Hugh, Britain's moral standard bearer. After getting no reply, Piers, clearly pleased with himself, made the same joke 2 months later, again not getting any response from the BAFTA-winning star. They subsequently clashed various times on Twitter in the lead-up to the election. Coming back to the Oscars, host Jimmy Kimmel also came under fire from Piers, but one of his jokes was especially memorable for the former Good Morning Britain star. "If anyone in this theater commits an act of violence at any point during the show, you'll be awarded the Oscar for Best Actor and permitted to give a 19-minute-long speech," he quipped, referencing Will Smith's infamous slap last year. However, Piers retorted today, "I can't have been the only viewer quietly hoping Will Smith might storm in again and whack Grant in his self-satisfied scrotum." Will received a 10-year ban from the Oscars and other Academy events last year after slapping comic Chris Rock for making a G.I. Jane about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Piers Morgan also pointed out another celebrity while saying, "When you lose, you've got to try and pretend you're happy for the people who win," but this is something Angela Bassett did not get the memo on.
Did not get the memo on. Take a look.
Jamie Lee
Well, Angela Bassett really looked like she was glugging a vinegar bottle when she heard she'd lost the Best Supporting Actress to Jamie Lee Curtis. Bassett's abject failure to even pretend to be gracious wasn't the best ad for her acting skills. Piers further told us about his thoughts after seeing Angela's reaction on losing an award.
The good about this, Sharon, is she's supposed to be an actress. I mean, surely in that moment, what you do is you just act your way out of it. You pretend you're happy for Jamie Lee Curtis, don't you?
Piers also talks about what he would say if he ever won an Oscar award. Well, if he ever did win an Oscar, he will keep the speech short and heartfelt and thank his mom and tell a little bit about his journey to get there and then melt into the applause and go away. But Ki Hai Kwan, who won the Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once, his speech won everything last night. Some claim that this was one of the greatest Oscar speeches. Let's take a little look at the clip.
Started on a boat. I spent a year in a refugee camp. And somehow, I ended up here on Hollywood.
Well, Morgan also liked his heartfelt speech and said,
That right there was the American dream.
Well, yes, that was a beautiful speech.
Yeah.
But what you're not...
and you have to agree on that since Roberto Benigni clambered ecstatically over the chairs, that everyone felt quite as pleased for a winner as all the nominees did for Everything Everywhere All at Once star Ki Hai Kwan, whose emotional speech about coming to the United States as a refugee and now living the American dream brought a lump to everyone's awards-weary throat. Regardless of everything, let's hope that Hugh and Piers can find a way to bury the hatchet, or at least keep their feuding off of social media. That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.